Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. I had to sneak into the studio today with the sunglasses and the hat on so no one recognized me as a Bears fan. That's why I put on my Mitchell jersey. They'd never think I was a Bears fan after yesterday. I thought I'd start out the show with a little laugh, which we need after yesterday's debacle game. I don't know what to say about yesterday's game, but I will tell you that I wasn't happy. I'm sure you weren't happy either, right? So let's get at it. There is a lot to talk about the game. There is some good, but not a lot. And do we all agree that Rodgers is a fucking asshole? I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak like that, but it's my show and I can do what I want. I mean, when he yelled that to the fan, I own you and I still own you, and you know what? He needs to keep his mouth shut. I heard the fan gave him a finger. So what? They get that stuff all the time. You know, Brady, Big Ben, Matthew Stafford, none of them would have said that. You wonder why we hate Green Bay and Rodgers so much. That's the reason. Because he's a dick. He's into himself. It's all about Rodgers. And, you know, cut that damn hair of yours, you dork. It's not a good look on you. I know your fiance says it is, but it's not, man, all right? All right. Calm down, Lynn. Excuse me. All right, so let's talk about the game. Obviously, it was 24-14. We lost. The Bears are now 3-3. So I'm going to just do a few stats, and then we're going to talk. So Green Bay, I mean, actually, at the end of the day, the Bears' defense did a pretty darn good job keeping them limited. They only had a total offensive yards of 323, and that's not much from what we had, and you'll hear in a minute. Their passing, he only had 169 yards, and when I say only, because a couple weeks ago, one of their receivers, obviously not yesterday, but a week ago yesterday, had 260 yards of passing himself. So Rodgers must have had over 300 that day. So holding him to 169 it's kind of a win. This is where they got us. His rushing was 154, and I was just like not happy about that. Hicks was in yesterday too, but I don't think he's 100%, even though he got a sack. But that's what hurt us a lot. They only had 3 penalties. Good for them. And then they did win the time of possession over 32 minutes. So you know how important that is. Okay, so the Bears, so there was some wins there. I will say that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. The Bears had 277 total yards, so it wasn't a whole lot difference. He had Fields had 137 yards passing. Was a little behind him, but still not great. Rushing, we had 140 yards, and that was between Herbert and Fields. Unfortunately, Fields was sacked 4 times. And then these next 2, besides the 4 sacks, the next 2 are my bugaboos. And you know how I feel about penalties. Again, 7 penalties, not a lot of yardage. It was only 54 yards yesterday. But the penalties came at the worst time. Get back to that in a second. And then time of possession, obviously we lost that because we did not keep him off the field enough. But again, that was close. They had 32 minutes, we had 27. So, but those penalties, one of the penalties called back a touchdown, and the ref said that our center, was holding. He was not. They replayed that, and even my daughter-in-law is like, "That's not a holding," and I'm like, "I know." So that really hurt. There was a penalty where Rodgers had fallen down, and Edwards, 97, was standing over him, and jerk face Rodgers grabbed his face mask and pulled it. So, of course, Edwards is going to say something. Who gets the penalty for taunting? 15 yards. That hurt. Gave him a first down. And and there were and that but the one where we did get the penalty where we got the touchdown back 2 plays later, we did score a touchdown. So wasn't terrible, but it does take away from the player because Herbert ran that in for like 20 something yards, so he lost all those yards. So and then there was some other penalties that were just devastating on both sides of the ball, mostly the defense. And there was a couple times, I'm telling you, that the refs missed stuff on the Packers, and we're going to talk about that because this is just bullshit. But there was some good things because I said, like, Herbert, he had 97 yards rushing, and then Fields had 43, so together. But we really don't want our quarterback to have 43 yards rushing. We want him to add those 43 yards to his passing yards, not rushing. Again, we didn't sign him to be a running quarterback because you have to do, if you're a running quarterback like you say the guy in Baltimore is, but this year he's learned to really pass now. So you just can't be one-dimensional as a quarterback. I'm just saying. So the Bears, you know what? Just another freaking loss to those stupid Packers. I can't stand them. But the other good thing was, or a few other, let's talk about a few good things, and then we'll kind of talk about all the bad. But we had 3 sacks. Mack had a sack. Hicks had a sack. Robert Quinn had a sack. Really good. I don't know why they stopped, but they were in his face a lot. And the only bright spot about our secondary, which is awful, was Jalen Johnson, number 33. He limited oh my God, I forgot to put his name, their receiver, Adams. Dante Adams, he limited him to only 89 yards. And last week, as I told you, Dante Adams had 260 yards in receiving from Rodgers last week. So we held them. So there were some small victories in this clusterfuck of a game yesterday. But so we got to concentrate on those because we all know we're not going to... I really doubt if we'd go to the playoffs. It'd be a miracle, and we're certainly not going to the Super Bowl. Because, first of all, no rookie has ever won the Super Bowl. I'm just telling you that. And there are some things we got to talk about. So, and the thing was, the defense yesterday, they started out so strong in that first half. They were in his face, and then not so much the second half. Obviously, they made adjustments, the Packers, to... so they probably brought more people in, like their tight ends, to block our pass rushers. And then, so the second half, he had more time. Hence, he scored more points. So, and then he started picking on the secondary. When he did have time, he made our secondary look really bad. We are really lucky that our defensive line was doing as well as it did at the time it did, because that game with our secondary could have been 40-something to 14. You know what I mean? But we were really in his face, and let's face it. Anybody who watched that game yesterday knows that the refs were on Green Bay's side. You know, I'm not a believer of refs being bought off. At least I hope that isn't the case. But sometimes when we play Green Bay, I wonder. And that's what I was thinking, why do they? So the Bears are not getting the benefit of the calls like a Rodgers or a Brady gets. It's not really fair to punish the Bears because they're a young team or they're just rebuilding. And there was some, we'll talk about the Fields interception that shouldn't have happened. It was partly Green Bay, it was partly Fields, and it was partly the refs, okay? So we're in the first half of the game, and Fields goes to, hike the ball, and he sees what he thinks is an offside. No yellow on the field, so what does he do? Instead of the play that they had for him, which apparently after hearing Nagy was open, and would have gotten us a first down, he chose to take the free play, thinking that Green Bay was offsides, which gives you a free play and a first down, no matter what happens. So if he throws it, if the yellow, they would have thrown the penalty, and that he threw that interception wouldn't have counted. So Fields, assuming that was an offsides, threw that pass, thinking he had a free play, boom, interception. And it stood. But the thing is, he was offsides. It was a split second, but he was offsides. And I've seen the Bears called for a lot worse than that on offsides. So, you know what? That was a bunch of bull crap, too. The refs, they blew it. Green Bay got away with it again. But I'll tell you, that's one thing that Fields needs to learn, though. I know the guy on the other side of the field, how many times have you seen Rodgers get a free play and either make up a 40 yards or a touchdown on it off of an offsides? Way too much. He's probably the best at that. But Fields, I'm sorry, young man, you're not there yet. You're too green, and you've got to stick somewhat with the plays. Unless you saw that yellow being thrown on the field, again, I think sometimes Rodgers sees that because he's just so good at that, as much as I hate admitting it. Then you do that. But he should have stuck with the play that was sent in, because according to, after they watched the film, he would have hit this guy, and I think it was number 12, Robertson, that he was supposed to throw to, and he was open. Okay? So this just shows you that the kid is still really, really new. And our offensive line, terrible yesterday. Just terrible. You know what? They seemed to hold up a few times and gave Fields times, but on the whole, and I noticed that yesterday they were sending out our tight ends a lot more than they were in the previous game, so they weren't using them as blockers as much. As a matter of fact, there were several catches by 85 Clement, who is our awesome second-year tight end from Notre Dame and from Arlington Heights, Illinois, and I was from Prospect Heights, so just the next town over. But the line, again, you know what? They're too inconsistent, and to me, that is just a problem, obviously, because it doesn't give Fields that sense of security. He looked overwhelmed to me yesterday more than he did. He actually looked more overwhelmed to me at times than he did in that Cleveland game. And maybe they're putting more plays on his plate now because they see him progressing, but I don't think they should do that, because he did look several times like he took off running and he shouldn't have. And he missed Robinson in the open field in, God, what quarter was that? That was the second half, I think. And Robinson was wide open. That would have been 7 points for sure. That would have been a touchdown. And he just missed him completely. And he missed a couple other receivers from what I'm hearing from the press conference. So my point is, we can't get on his case because everybody wanted the rookie in this year. They didn't want Dalton in. If Dalton was in that game yesterday, I say the Bears had a good chance to win it, because in the stats I read you, it was not overwhelming. It was a very pretty much even game. We had the interception, and when he threw that interception, the Bears were kind of on a roll. And when you do that, momentum turns the other team. And whenever you give a momentum to Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, they're going to score. And that's what happened. They went down the field and scored. So, but Dalton, I think we got a chance. So I was thinking about this yesterday. So what do people want? I see online they want to win. They want to win. They win. They hate the Bears. They're pissed. Well, but then 3 weeks ago, you were all over the Bears for why isn't Fields in? So now the Bears are putting Fields in. We're going to have an up and down year. These starting yesterday, the next 4 games, yesterday's we lost. Then we have 3 real hard ones. Tampa Bay next week. Oh, boy. Then we got the 49ers. On paper, they're beating us right now, but I don't know. And then the Steelers. Although the Steelers, we'll talk about them when it's time. I'm not totally worried about them like I used to be. But we got some tough games. So, people, get ready. This is not going to be this. We might be 500 or maybe even less, because everybody wanted Fields in, and this is what you're going to have. So you got to say to yourself, Do I want to win every game and go to the playoffs? Well, then that's Andy Dalton. Or do I want to just sit back, hope that we win, hope that we're in it every week, and hope that Fields is learning and take the losses as much as we can handle them? That's what you got to think about, people. So people can't get on Fields. They can't get on, this or that. The Bears, if Fields isn't producing, everybody wanted him in, including the upper brass at in the Bears. And I will give Nagy this one prop because, I don't like him. I haven't liked him for years. I wanted him gone after a couple years after he screwed up Mitchell. But he wanted Dalton to play. He did not want to put Fields in. He wanted to wait. And we might have had a chance in that Cleveland game. I don't know. And I certainly think we could have won yesterday's game with Dalton. I'm not saying that I don't want Fields in there. I'm just saying, people, you got to pick your poison, right? You can't have them both. We're not going to win consistently with a rookie quarterback who's green. And this kid showed yesterday, and in other games he is. And, it's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just the facts, okay? So this year, we leave him in. We let him grow. Cool. We let him grow. And then in the offseason, we work on that pathetic offensive line and that pathetic secondary, and we hope that Quinn and Mack and Eddie Goldman and Hicks can come back next year and play as good as they're playing this year. Hopefully we don't waste our linebackers and our defensive line that are playing balls out. Roquan Smith was everywhere yesterday. Even Ogletree, who's helping, sometimes Danny goes in, sometimes Ogletree, and he was all over the place. It's the secondary that is awful, and our offensive line. Those are the two weak spots right now. If we had a really good offensive line like, Brady has, some of the really good quarterbacks, Stafford, Fields would have an easier time. There's no doubt. And, he could complete more passes. But the Bears know the offensive line sucks. So you can't put that young man in harm's way knowing that. So I think they need to take maybe some things off his plate. But we'll see what happens because I don't know. So, and the thing is, yesterday that was kind of like our Super Bowl. We know it's going to be a long year with our young rookie, but just once in a while, can we get a damn win against those jerks? I am so sick of, it's more Rodgers because he's such a prick. Because you saw what he did. He should have walked away like most mature class quarterbacks do. But it's all about Rodgers. That's why he sat out and pulled all that bullshit in the offseason. I'm not going to play for you, blah, 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 because you won't let me run the team. And fuck you. I'm sorry. I'm saying that word too much today. I'm annoyed with him. I just thought that was bullshit. And then I missed my brother called. He lives in Hawaii. And he left me a voicemail last night and said, I just have a question. Can the Bears ever beat Green Bay? My brother, apparently not. Because he's 20-5 against the Bears, Rodgers. Is he a jerk or what? But, I tried to show you some of the bright spots. Did the defense it could have been a lot worse, people. It could have been Cleveland and then some. And or even the Rams. But we kept them. We only let them score 24 points. And for Green Bay, and him only throwing 169 yards, pretty big. They hurt themselves with the penalties, and Fields did, to me, look uncomfortable yesterday. I don't know if other people felt that, but I certainly did. So, and what's funny about, Rodgers said that the lady gave him the finger. Every time I see him on TV, I give him the finger. When we were at the Raiders game last Sunday at halftime, they were showing highlights of games, and they were showing that game, and I was in the stadium giving him a finger. I'm like, I don't like him. I won't deny it. And yes, it has a lot to do that he's 20-5 against us, but I don't like arrogant, it's all me players, like Cam Newton's like that. That's why he's not playing with us anymore. Le'Veon Bell was a really good rusher, and he's a running back, but boy, could he catch when he was in Pittsburgh about 5 years ago. And it was all about him and the money. And he left Pittsburgh, where he should have stayed and probably would have made up with endorsements the money he made, and he went and signed with the Jets. And now I believe he has stunk since he went. That guy could have gone to the Pro Bowl, or excuse me, the Hall of Fame if he had stayed with Pittsburgh. But because it was all him and money, all me, he was just taken off the Ravens practice squad because they've had so many injuries with running backs. But Le'Veon Bell was on the practice squad. 5 years ago, people were saying he was going to be in the Hall of Fame. But because it was all about him and money, see what happens? You know, people? But whatever. So anyways, I don't know why I'm ranting about him. But, so let's, I do want to do, you know how sometimes, two things. Okay, so I guess we just got to get over it, right? We all hate Green Bay. We can't stand Rodgers. He's a jerk. And I really did I was saying to my son and my daughter-in-law in the beginning of the game, especially when we were down where it wouldn't have hurt us for the 15 yards, I wanted them to give him a hit and then, like, step on his arm and walk away. Oops, I'm sorry. And just have him out for this game. I'm not of a proponent of really hurting somebody unless his name is Aaron Rodgers and he's in number 12. Then go for it. Anyways. So, I thought we'd start a, yeah, you know what, I'll do the game next week. Because I've been going on and on. But I thought we'd do, you know how I was telling you I was imitating, I like imitating some of the refs when they do penalties, and it's kind of funny. So, gosh, I hope you can hear me. So, there's a penalty, and what it is called is it's called a oh my God, I just forgot the name of it. Well, so much for that. If I can't even remember it, it's see, pickled brain, I swear to God, you know, pickled brain with her father's face. You know, see what that game did to me yesterday? It just God, it's not a safety. Yes, safety. Oh my God, Lynn. So a safety, sorry guys, I hope you're laughing because I am pickled. So a safety is when, like, Green Bay is on their side of the field. Say they're on the 5-yard line and they got to go all the way down 95 yards to score. And our defense gets the quarterback or running back or whatever pushed into their end zone that's behind them, and we tackle them and they go down. Or if they have a penalty while they're standing in the end zone, that is a safety, and the Bears would have gotten 2 points. You get 2 points. The defense gets 2 points. And a safety is this. A safety. No, they don't do that. But they'll do it. They'll stand and they'll get, you know, the quarterback gets sacked in their end zone and safety, 2 points for the defense. Hopefully that made you laugh, because you know what? I know. And next week is Tampa Bay, so we're going to talk about that on Friday, and I am sure that's probably going to be, well, that one is going to be worse because on paper they're just going to be creaming us in every category, and it's Tom Brady, and we're in Tampa. So, because the Bears have a schedule this year, they go every other week. Home 1 week, away. Home. Sometimes it's 2 at home, and then 1 away, and then, you know, but this year it's every other Sunday for the Bears. So, that's it. And then Friday, I'm going to start a game we're going to play. So basically, you're going to have to start paying attention to the set that I sit at and do your shows. So, you know, pay attention to the set, because Friday we're going to start a new game. And the winner, if you win, I'll take you out to dinner. Except for the only part is, you got to come to Vegas, baby. All right, we're going to stop bitching about that debacle game yesterday, that horrible, horrible game. And I've said it all, right? I could keep going on, but I'm not going to. So, as always, my message, please be kind to one another. Kindness is the greatest gift we have right now. You know, love one another, respect each other, and just do not believe everything you hear and see on the TV and the internet. And honestly, do not get your news off of Facebook because that's just not true, okay? And really, the only person of media you can trust is me. Because I'm from Vegas, baby, and I'm rocking and rolling. I'm a Bears fan. I'm only going to give you the truth. That's right. But really, kindness, love, respect. If we could do those three things and continue to do it on a daily basis, this country could get back to running how it used to. And it makes me so sad to see some of the stuff going on, but there's just nothing you can do unless you make an effort to do these things. So for me, for your Let's Talk Chicago Bears, do one of those things for me today. And remember, always smile at somebody because it makes you and them feel good. All right? I love you, fans. Subscribers. I don't like to call you fans, but subscribers. I think you're awesome. I've got some really good people I like talking to you. So, I hope I made you laugh a little bit. The facts are the facts. So, and we all hate Brady. So, although he's going to win the division, which really sucks. So, anyways, enough of that. We're going to move on. So, I love y'all. Have a great week. I will see you Friday. And remember, we're going to start a game Friday. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. See ya Friday.